Hello, doers. Jose Ignacio here. Now, today we will look at Construcción, a renovation and construction firm specializing in office space for businesses. Now, they estimate the cost on a quotation, but charge customers based on the number of hours worked as well as the materials used. Now, from the salesperson who quotes and invoices all the way to the renovation workers, let's take a look at how Odoo helps the stakeholders involved in the project coordinate with each other. Now, it usually starts with a contract that defines the cost of materials and each profile rate, which starts with workers, subcontractors, etc. It just keeps going. Now, once the customer agrees to the details of the project, the plans can be prepared. Then, workers do the actual renovations based on those plans. And finally, every month, the project manager invoices the customer based on materials and days of work. So, like the other business flows, let's get right into it. Now, a project usually starts at the sales department with the negotiation of a contract with the customer. Now, the sales department works with the sales app, where the first step is to create that quotation. All right, so to start, we're going to open up the sales app and make a new quotation. This time it's the Deco Addict. And we need a product here, and they want us to architect stuff. Now, you'll notice in the description, you should always put what it is for this stuff. In our case, the very first one is plans. And do plans take us an hour, oh doers? They do if you are lightning fast, but I need days. And likewise, we'll do a couple more of these. So the very next one is going to now be permits. You can have plans, but you need permits to actually act on those plans. And they will always take longer because red tape is great. All right, now our next one, gotta have workers now. And what are those workers doing? Well, initially the workers will be, building foundation. We're going to set that at 10 days just because I want to give them enough time. All right. Last product. What is it? Well, we have a foundation. Got to make sure the rain doesn't come in. So this one is going to be a roof. And 3 days. Beautiful, load doers. All right. Now that we're all set here, it should be noted that units of measure can also be shown as months or weeks, for projects that could take longer than 30 days. You would just have to configure months and weeks as units of measure in your database. Now the sales rep sends the quotation to the customer by hitting send by email. And they get that. Now, once that the customer receives this, they can actually confirm it through the customer portal using an electronic signature, or the sales team can confirm it via the button at the top of this menu where, you see, after I send this over, we can actually just confirm it right here. Boom, I have confirmed it. Now that the quotation is confirmed, a project and its tasks are automatically created, as you can see with the new smart buttons up here. And it's beautiful. See, we're making progress because the quotation was approved and the contract negotiated. The team can start working on the project. Now we can click the smart buttons to view the project created by this sales order, or we can also go directly to the Projects app, just so that you know. All right, so inside of the Projects app, you'll find that if you follow the number that we had, which is 33, we have our automatically created project when we confirm the sales order. Now, our 4 tasks are already created here and they're listed as new tasks. And each card has the name and the expected working time on each of them, as you could tell. And they're done in hours just to save you any math, because I love saving time. Now, because the architect's tasks are priority, we can actually prioritize them by clicking on this little star icon. So let's just prioritize, what do we need? Well, actually, we should only prioritize the plans and the permit. The other 2, we could kind of wait on, but we need those 2. All right, now our plans task is still in progress. So we can actually move it into the in progress stage. Now the work permit is ready, but still needs to be reviewed, especially to make sure that the plans are within the jurisdiction's building code. So let's schedule a new activity right from the project task. So first, I am going to click on the little clock icon that we have right here. And you'll see that I could schedule an activity. Perfect. Now the activity type is a to-do because we got to do it to do. Now, what should we label this? Well, let's say for the summary, we need to double check the plans. The plans, bro. All right. We're done. That's perfect. It's beautiful and it's succinct. And we're going to make the 2 dates, let's say Friday. Boom. And we're done. Now, once that we're all set with this, we can actually just hit schedule. And would you look at that? It's so simple. I didn't really have to do much of anything right there. And now we could just wait for that activity to pop up. Ah, I love it. Now, while working on their tasks, employees can easily record their time right in the project task. Now, up next, I actually want to open up something again. We're going to open up the work permit task. And I need to assign it to myself, Jose. Now, on top of that, I need to go to the timesheets. And in this case, we need to put something in here. What are we going to add? Well, let's put researched code. And how much time did I spend on that, Odooers? I spent 24 hours on that. Boom. All right, now let's hop on back over here using our breadcrumbs, which is today our construction bread. And we're going to go back over here to our renovation project again. Now I need to add a timesheet of 8 hours spent again. So we're going to open up the plans one. And in this case, what do I want to put on this one? We're just going to put Jose drafted stuff. And this was exactly 8 hours. Beautiful. 50% done. It auto saves, but just in case, save manually because I like making sure it does. Now, another option for timesheets is actually to launch the timer that you pretty much can see. And the timer will have the time recorded that way as well once they do that. Now, to do so, I'll click on the start button that you have right there. And once you click on the start button, it'll pretty much start this little timer there. And then you can pause it. You could do other things. And in our case, I'm going to pause it. Then I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to manually record 15 minutes. Now, let's say this was, again, for code review. I am becoming such a great reviewer. We'll do movies next, though, doers. And hit save. Boom. Both of those are done. Now, when we save, we can even see the progress bar over here going up, like we're leveling up. And that's it right now for the project application. Teams can easily prioritize tasks, record their hours while keeping an eye on the remaining time for their tasks, schedule activities, and they can add new tasks or any subtasks as well. We do both, sub and big tasks. And you can even assign them to anybody on the team. And that's what makes it beautiful. Now, let's say that Constru Power has reached the end of the month and it's time to invoice the customer. We need to get our money at this point. Now, to do so, we need information about what should be invoiced and what shouldn't be, which can be difficult. In Odoo, though, it's pretty simple. Now, if you're ready for some more of that Odoo magic, I have something to show you. If we open up the sales app and we go to that Deco Addict order, boom, I want you to take a second to take this in. All the hours recorded on the task automatically updated the delivered column over here on the sales order. Now, it should be noted that these delivered times are in days, not in hours. The original way the SO was created, but it's better this way so you can keep track. Odoo automatically converts the hours from the timesheets into days for us. Now, blue text indicates that these quantities can be invoiced at this point. Also, the related project tasks and timesheets can be accessed from the sales order through the smart buttons that we have up here up at the top. And these are always used for your salespeople. They need to find that. And you'll notice everything is seamlessly integrated, which makes it very easy to check. Now, we've talked about a couple things, but the biggest point is that many of the projects Constru Power completes also will require materials like cement and wood panels. We need to build these things. And that's where the purchase app comes into action. Now, the project manager will create purchase orders from that application. So let's open it up. All right, Odoo, so here we are inside of the purchase application. Now, this is the first time we are using Wood Corner as one of our vendors. So we're going to set them up right there. And we don't have any on-time delivery data for them. So in this case, I think we need to send a follow-up email to the vendor to remind them of the delivery as well. So I need to make sure the ask confirmation box is checked off over here. And we need to set it to 1 day before. And then I'm going to add my 30 wood panels now over here to this order. Now, by adding an analytic account, Odoo will link the purchase order to the construction project from the sales order. So I'm going to click on the analytic column really quick, search for the sales order number that we created earlier in the default search bar, and we select it. Beautiful. We're moving on. Now, it should also be noted that the analytic accounting option needs to be activated in the accounting configuration settings first before using this feature. If it is activated and the column is not showing up on the purchase or sales order, you want to click on the little dots over here that I always talk about to the right of the subtotal. And that'll bring up the little menu right there so that you have it. All right. Finally, I'm going to send this purchase order over here by email, and then we're going to confirm the purchase order. Now, teams know that the products are expected for a specific date over here, and that's when a bill will arrive. So ConstruPower will basically be able to register both the reception of the products and the bill from here. And you can pretty much see that, and it looks beautiful. All right. So in our case, let's receive these products now by clicking on, you guessed it, the receive button. And then we'll validate and apply these quantities. Beautiful. So the accounting department should have received the bill from the vendor. And to be sure that everything is correct, checking it is essential. The first step is to record the new bill. We can either create the bill from the purchase order itself, which you just pretty much follow the breadcrumbs back over on the purchase order and hit that create bill button that you see on the screen. Or you can hop on over to the accounting app, which I'm going to show you. All right, so inside of the accounting application, I'm going to go over here to the vendors menu, click on bills, and let's create a new bill. In our case, we're also going to add Wood Corner as the vendor. Now, since I specified the vendor, I can autocomplete the bill by choosing the correct purchase order. So we're going to select autocomplete and select the right bill. This is really simple, and the team just has to check if everything is correct. We can even see the analytic account was added as well. And isn't that perfect? Now ConstruPower can set a bill date, and in our case, let's make it to today and confirm the bill. And we're going to register the payment to the vendor. So we're going to click create payment. Now I'll validate the payment was sent, and bingo, we're done and we're moving on. And isn't that perfect? Now, a lot of materials were used during the project. Therefore, ConstruPower needs to know what should be re-invoiced to the customer. At ConstruPower, this is also a job for sales reps. Now, of course, ConstruPower doesn't have to register anything themselves. Odoo did it automatically by adding the wood panels to the sales order. Now, that's thanks to the analytic account. Remember, the blue lines are the ones that can be invoiced. Now back to our project manager, and finally the accounting team can take the very last step. Now, at the end of the month, the project manager at ConstruPower invoices the customer for everything that occurred during the last few weeks. Once again, only a few clicks are needed. Now inside of the sales app, we're going to select on to invoice, and we're going to select the sales order checkbox. And look at that, we're moving forward, and in our case, it's pretty simple. So we're going to select on create and view invoice. Now, it only took me a few seconds to have a complete and perfect professional invoice. Now, all the line items that I have over here on this invoice are the quantities on the sales order that are ready to be invoiced. So I'm going to select confirm, send and print. And in our case, we're going to save, just if it's necessary. It might come up for you. We also have the option to send this via post if we would like to do that. But in our case, we're a modern company here at ConstruPower, so email only. All right. Now, this whole business flow from start to finish was pretty easy, fast, and it was super streamlined, right, my little commenters? Now, how exactly did Odoo do all of this anyway? Well, a few settings are necessary to make this flow possible and to automate many processes. So let's dive into ConstruPower's database to see these configurations in action. All right, so the very first place we'll go to is the products. So we're going to go there and we're going to remove this filter real quick and open up the architect one. Now, as their architects are paid per hour, ConstruPower sets the product type as a service over here. Now, of course, they also need to know how many hours the architects worked. So ConstruPower decided to track the service via a task in the project linked to the actual sales order. Now, this way, the newly created project is formatted exactly like our template, and the customer is invoiced based on the timesheets that are recorded on the tasks as well. Now, that's it pretty much for the service product configuration. Now, let's see more about the wood panel product ConstruPower used on site during the project. Now, here inside of the wood panel, since ConstruPower often uses wood panels in construction projects, it is essential to set the product as can be expensed, as you see. Doing so allows them to re-invoice the product's cost to the actual customer. Also, since ConstruPower buys it and then stores it, they chose to make it a storable product in this case. Now, because ConstruPower also sells the product, it is invoiced based on the sales price. So even if Construct Power buys the product from the vendor at $50 per unit, we can choose to invoice the customer the price at, like, let's say $100, which means we make some profit right there. Now, because customers do not order the product themselves, they ask to be invoiced for the delivered amount, aka the amount used in the project, and not the ordered amount, as you can see over here for the invoicing policy. Now, on the purchase tab, we see the vendor we used earlier, Wood Corner, and that's important. Lastly, as I mentioned before, and this is a big one, the analytic accounts need to be activated in the accounting configuration if you want to connect purchase orders to a sales order analytics. Jose, where do I find that? I'm going to show you right now. Navigate to the accounting app, select configuration, select setting, type analytics, because there's a lot of settings inside of here. And there it is. Beautiful, Odooers. And there you have it. This is how you can handle construction projects from A to Z using Odoo. Now, to learn more about the specific applications, I encourage you to check out more of my videos, mine specifically. Just kidding. All of them are great. Everyone is great. Thank you for watching.